Carlos Watson engineered a mass media fraud, a talk show no one watched.
Hey family, it's Carlos Watson. I've got a special one for you.
Newsletters no one read, podcasts no one heard. And when he ran out of money, Watson started lying. He got caught. And then he whipped out the ultimate weapon. He claimed racism. It doesn't work. He's convicted. And in his most desperate hour, facing a decade in jail, Watson pivots. He goes full MAGA. And it works. Here's how. Carlos Watson has perfect credentials. Harvard, Stanford, stints at McKinsey and Goldman Sachs. But normal success never satisfied him. His true life's purpose was to be a pundit, a man with important opinions to share.
Welcome back to MSNBC Live. I'm Carlos Watson.
For decades, he wiggles his way into cable news. But our man never hit, never connected. So, in 2013, Watson launches his own media company, his very own vessel for pundit glory. It's called Ozzy. Watson's pitch to investors is silky smooth. He wants to make something magical.
There wasn't something that I loved. There wasn't something magical.
He partners with Samir Rowe, a former colleague at Goldman Sachs.
A wonderful guy named Samir Rao.
And together, they create Ozzy Media. It is, apparently, an instant success. Newsletters, podcasts, YouTube shows, traditional TV, and its very own festival.
Some people call it Ted Beats Coachella. We just call it Ozzy Fest.
Ozzy Fest is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Great to be here at Ozzy Fest.
By 2019, Ozzy claims 50 million monthly unique users. In 2020, it keeps winning.
These days, I think we reach 75 million people every month, which is hard for me to believe.
And then, in 2020, during the summer of our great racial reckoning, Ozzy launches The Carlos Watson Show.
Hey, thanks for joining me today for this very important episode of The Carlos Watson Show. I'm hoping that you found yourself enlightened, inspired, and excited about where we're headed as a country.
Watson snags a golden guest list.
Hey, Matthew.
Carlos,
How are you?
I'm good, man.
Hey, Scarlett. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome to The Carlos Watson Show. Thank you for joining me.
You bet.
Carlos, how are you? What's going on, Carlos? How you doing, my guy?
Watson's on-screen presence is hyper-polished.
Tell me just a little bit more about your mom. Are you optimistic that we're on our way to a better place? And why is that?
It's all smooth surfaces.
Who's your favorite basketball player?
Steph Curry all the way for sure.
If I gave you the do-over button in life and I gave you one do-over, what would you use it on?
But almost aggressively empty. Just enthusiasm and charming laughs. He's like a LinkedIn post come to life. Perfect presentation, but there's no there. Watson rides the wave of our social justice revolution.
You have to be able to say Black Lives Matter.
When I say the American dream, what do you hear? What do you think?
Carlos, I don't hear anything.
The country is broken, Carlos.
He invites Mary Trump to come on and savage her uncle.
He's good at things like cheating.
The Carlos Watson Show is huge. Congratulations.
Yes.
You've got millions of people who watch it.
The fastest growing talk show in YouTube history.
And by April 2020, Ozzy has raised more than $83 million. February 2021. The New York Times publishes a facade-cracking story. Watson and Samir Rowe were trying to secure an investment from their old friends at Goldman Sachs. They entice Goldman by pointing to Ozzy's huge success on YouTube. Goldman asked to speak with a YouTube executive to confirm that Ozzy is in fact a huge success. And Samir Rowe then pretends to be a YouTube executive. He sets up a fake email account and uses a voice modifier on a conference call with Goldman. The story explodes. Watson claims Rowe was suffering from a mental health crisis.
I think this was a serious mental health issue.
The Times story prompts law enforcement to investigate Ozzie. What they find causes them to put Watson on trial. And the trial exposes Ozzie as a phenomenal scam, an empire built on deception. Ozzie started running out of money in 2018. It was paying up to $100,000 a day in interest on its loans and missing payroll. The pressure pushes Watson to start lying to investors. In 2017, Ozzie's actual revenue was $7 million. Watson tells an investor it was 12. In 2019, Ozzie's actual revenue was $13 million. Watson tells an investor it was 35. That year, Ozzie actually lost $6 million. And in 2020, it lost another 8. Watson entices an investor by claiming Google had tried to buy Ozzie for $600 million. It works. The investor cuts a $20 million check. The CEO of Google testifies it had never offered to buy Ozzie. Watson and Rowe created fake TV contracts with forged signatures and tried to use them to get banks to give them loans. One of their colleagues emailed them, "This is illegal. This is fraud. What you see as measured risk, I see as a felony." She resigns. Watson takes the stand for 5 days. He claims he did not personally sign off on any fraudulent claims about Ozzie's finances.
The government didn't show you a single email or text where Carlos said, hey, make up some numbers.
He's forced to confront some inconvenient facts. Rowe had drafted an email to an investor claiming, "We have a commitment from 2 other big investors." They did not. Rowe sends the draft to Watson and asks, "Are we good to send this note?" Watson replies, "Yes, send." Watson is also confronted with the fact that fully 95% of the views for the Carlos Watson show were purchased.
Maybe you'll be mad at us sometimes, or inspired.
Watson tries to offer an explanation for that infamous Goldman Sachs call, in which Samir Rowe pretended to be a YouTube executive. He claims he got up at 4 a.m., goes to the office, and at 8:15 a.m. stumbles on Rowe making the fake call. Text messages show Watson telling Rowe to say, "I'm a big fan of Carlos and the show. Tell them I've been on Good Morning America and Late Night with Stephen Colbert." Watson says he was trying to do damage control, to control an ill employee. The prosecutor responds with an admission. He'd actually made a mistake in the indictment. The call was actually at 11:15 a.m., not 8:15 a.m. And he asked Watson if you're telling the jury what actually happened or making up a story to respond to the indictment. The court is silent. Ozzie racked up a total of $60 million in investor losses. Watson is charged with fraud and identity theft. Losing in the realm of facts, Watson turns to the public, and he brandishes the most obvious weapon he can find. He claims racism.
Sometimes people of color are warned not to think too big, because I know that what's happening to me doesn't only happen to me. I hope people see this black man not surrendering.
Watson releases his own documentary.
The observations that me and many others saw were not verbal. They were gestures. They were tone.
It was a public lynching in broad daylight.
The reality is that this happens all the time to lots of black and brown people, and that's why we have something called mass incarceration.
I've been down for you for a long time, almost as long as you've been down for me.
They switched my judge. There was a black woman who was originally my judge. They switched her to a white guy who had worked in the same prosecutor's office.
The documentary does not mention that the prosecutor who brought the charges looks like this. U.S. Attorney Breon Peace.
Watson invented phony financial figures and caused others to forge fake contracts. And he told lie upon lie upon lie until the company collapsed under the weight of his big con.
July 2024. Watson is convicted on all counts and sentenced to 10 years in jail. His delusions, his narcissism have hit hard reality. He's cooked, right? Watson connects to a woman named Dr. Topeka Sam. Sam had spent time in jail, and when she got out, she dedicated her life to helping other women like her, poor, convicted of nonviolent offenses.
It was my mission and purpose from God to create an organization that helps marginalized and disenfranchised women and girls.
Dr. Sam is friends with Alice Marie Johnson. Johnson had been doomed to a lifetime prison sentence for a relatively minor drug offense. She has 5 kids. She's been a perfect prisoner. Alice's case had attracted the attention of Kim Kardashian.
She hasn't had one disciplinary infraction since she's been in prison. If it takes me to go and talk to President Trump, then I will definitely do that.
Kardashian brings Alice's case to Trump during his first term, and he pardons her.
We're giving Alice a full pardon.
In his second term, Trump makes Alice Johnson his pardon czar.
She's going to be my pardon czar. Okay?
Well, I plan to fulfill the trust that the president has placed in me.
Watson feeds a pardon request through Sam, who feeds it to Alice, who gives it to Trump. And the very morning Watson's scheduled to go to prison, Trump pardons him, and he walks free. Why did Trump use a pardon power that's supposed to be for poor black women who commit low-level, nonviolent crimes for a rich Harvard guy who stole $60 million from investors? Good question. Watson tested his dreams of broadcast stardom, and the world told him he was vapid, empty, unappealing. To keep the dream alive, he started lying. He turned to fraud to finance his delusions. He was caught and claimed racism. And when that failed, he went full MAGA, praising Trump for his unwavering commitment to fairness and justice.